Hey people, how's it going? Welcome back to Albums Ranked, the weekly series where I take a band's entire discography and rank it from my least favorite to the top favorite. Today is episode 3. Welcome to episode 3, and today we're tackling the shock horror icon from the 90s, booyah, Brian Hugh Warner, also better known to the world as Marilyn Manson. Cool. Now, I went through a little bit of a phase during the teenage years, like we all do, and I discovered this guy, and he was, in my opinion, one of the more out there performers in terms of what he did, the things he sang about, the way he did interviews and all things like that. And over the years, I developed a likeness towards most of his music. So I thought, with his discography being quite bigger than everything I've done so far, I thought, cool, yeah, we'll start to get into the bigger artists now. So we're going to tackle his 11 studio albums, so I'm disregarding EPs and live albums and things like that. Despite the shirt I'm wearing, I will not be ranking Smells Like Children, just because it's not deemed a studio album. So cool. I think this video is going to take a little while to get through. So without further ado, let's just dive straight into it, and let's see what reigns supreme, shall we? Okay, so like I said, let's just get straight into it. Coming in at number 11 for me is probably one that a few of you might rank quite high, given how it's like his sort of, what's the word? Like most known for sound, I think. And that is his second studio album, Antichrist Superstar. When I was listening to all of the albums trying to figure out which ones were favorite, this one was super hard to get through for me. More so because I've realized that I do not enjoy the the shouting the shouting vocal style that he does. So which you could argue is his typical his style of thing, but compared to the first album and literally everything that came afterwards, it was a tiny bit more musical. So I like to say, I really, really struggled to get through this album, and I got through like the first 4 tracks, and I realized that this album's got like 17 songs on it, coming in at like pretty much 80 minutes, which is like the length of a decent film. And I was just like, oh boy, okay, here we go. But I sat down, and of course, like, not everything about it was bad. There were some beautiful songs. Like, obviously, The Beautiful People is awesome, the single, which put him into the world. That's awesome. Tourniquet is quite a cool one. I remember that one being cool. But then one that really stood out for me was probably the last song, because I was really, really struggling to be like, come on, hurry up. And then when the last song came through, The Man That You Fear is called, that made the album for me. That made it worth listening to, because that's lyrically, that song was really, really good. And the melodies inside it was awesome, and it just, in a way, it summed it up. Not summed it up, but it ended it nicely. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. I'll give it to you. There were some other funny ones in there, like Worm Boy is hilarious lyrically and fun. Kinderfeld I thought was cool, but like, I couldn't wait for the album to finish. For me, it's too angry and too very industrial. That's the word. I'm probably going to use that word quite a lot today, so strap yourself in. But yeah, number 11, Antichrist Superstar. Okay, sweet as. Now coming in at number 10, moving up the list ever so slightly, we have the 5th studio album, Golden Age of Grotesque. Now again, excuse me, just like Antichrist, this one wasn't so much. God, I've got hiccups. It wasn't so much of a mission to get through. Like, it was a lot easier to get through than Antichrist was, but it was still a lot of how do you say, like, just a lot of things were, they morphed together and started to sound like all in one. They all followed sort of like the same structure and whatnot. And yeah, so again, this is why this one is as low as number 10. There's some cool songs on here, though, I won't lie. Like, the single, This Is the New Shit, it's don't even know what you call that. It's just, it's almost new metal. You could tell, like, because when did this album come out? Like, it's around that new metal era. So he's like vibing with the likes of not Limp Bizkit and whatnot, but you can kind of feel like that. Better of Two Evils, I really enjoyed at the end of the album. The Use Your Fist and Not Your Mouth song was kind of cool. Another sort of rebellion, I think, kind of fight back against the world was cool. Paranoia, however you want to say it, I thought was really cool as well. And again, this album was quite long as well. It's got like, I think it's like just shy of an hour, 60 minutes or so. And that was probably the hardest thing about getting through Manson's discography, was the fact that they're all so long. The albums are so long, but it's all good. Mob Scene as well was on this album, and that's a really, really fun song. It's a sort of aggressive, catchy sort of song. It's fun to sing. I remember that one anyway. But still, it morphed together quite a lot, and that's why I've kept number 10 on Golden Age of Grotesque. Sorry, my mind's just going a bit loose. Cool. Now we get on to number 8. Again, another album that's sort of morphed all together as one sound. This album's very slower. It's a later one of his album, and that is the 8th studio album from Manson, Born Villain. Yeah. This one was a bit, for a better word, slow. Maybe boring. I'm not entirely sure if I want to use that word for it, but I mean, yeah, this one was very slow. It's a very mellow album compared to what happened before, and probably maybe it's just because it was at like a rough point in his life, probably, But anyway, there's some cool songs, like most of the albums. No Reflection's a cool song. It's got a funky video and it's fun. Slow Motion is cool as well. I remember that one being cool. But one that really stood out to me, well, two songs actually that really stand out to me on this one, is Lay Down Your Goddamn Arms, which is a really cool, I don't know why I like that. Probably just because it's catchy and lyrics are fun. But also Children of Cain, I thought, was a cool song too. So those ones are worth listening to, I think. I remember the ending being a bit taking a while to get to. Again, this one's 66 minutes or so, something like that. It's got a cover at the end called You're So Vain. I'm sure you've heard that song by Carly Simon, and it's kind of cool because it kind of fits his persona, Anyone that's been with him, I suppose, and then he goes and writes a song about something dark, they're probably thinking, yeah, that's about me because I did that to him. But not a huge standout album for me, I won't lie. But I mean, getting better, I think, getting better further up the list than what we've had so far. Awesome, moving up again. Number 8 on the list is the album that actually comes directly after Born Villain, and that is the 9th album, The Pale Emperor, released on January 15, 2015, not long after his birthday. Cool, so this album, again, was a bit... I honestly want to say slow and boring again, because, it all seems very repetitive kind of thing. I don't know if now he's found he can't do or doesn't want to do the, angry kind of shout that he used to do 20 odd years ago, and that's fine. He's an old man now. So maybe he's found this whole new style that he's sticking to and, staying with it. It sounds all right. Well, albums are getting better, just a little bit. The singles on this one are funny. That's funny. Don't know why they're funny, but, they're catchier, I think is a good word for it. You've got Deep Six, which has some really, really clever, lyrics in it, talking about narcissists watching himself, and Deep Six. It echoes in the background, making it 666. Very cool. Third Day of a 7-Day Binge is interesting. I'm not entirely sure what that... It has to be a metaphor for something because it's a Manson song. Every song's got a metaphor and a twisted meaning. So, I wonder if it was a religious stab. I don't know. Yeah, but that's probably the catchiest single of the album. I can't even say this word. The Mephistopheles of Los Angeles. Again, it rhymes, so it's very cool. And it's cool to sing as well. But then A Slave Only Dreams to Be King was quite cool. And I remember that one because it starts with an old recording of someone preaching about, I am I Will Do Good, and yeah. The album's a lot shorter this time because it's only got 10 songs, which means it's only 52 minutes, which is some of my more easier listening range. So it wasn't so much of a mission to get through, and then yeah, but I still thought it was a little bit you know. And even though the opener, Killing Strangers, was cool too. It made it sound like it was about gun violence again, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, Pale Emperor. It's people. I think people considered it a comeback album. Maybe, I don't know, and I would agree in a way. It gets him back to uh, what he's good at. The songs were better than Born Villain, and yeah. So that's why Pale Emperor, I put it number 8. Awesome, getting up there. Number 7, we actually go way back in time now, and I really really dig this album, and it is called it's called it's the debut, Portrait of an American Family. Look at that cover. That is such a cool cover. If I saw that in the shop when I was younger, I would have been like, oh. This is the debut. This is Manson's first album, and I'll tell you, listening to this, I had such a fun time. It's such a cool little album, and it's everything that Manson is. Like, he's discovering himself, he's learning what he can do and what he can write about, whatnot. And it does it so well. There are some really, really awesome songs on here. Like, some of my all-time favorite Manson songs come from this album. Weirdly enough, I love, like, as a standalone track, the little intro to this album, which is called Prelude, The Family Trip. And it's just Manson sort of whispering and taking, I'm pretty sure it's the Willy Wonka poem thing about, rowing faster and faster until it all, it builds up this tension, and then suddenly it goes quiet and he says, stop the boat. And then the drums come in. And that kicks off an awesomely written song called Cake and Sodomy, which is about, how backwards and how weird American culture is, because of how, like, on one TV channel you've got baking. I'm pretty sure this is how he described it. You've got baking channel learning how to bake a cake, and then you flip the channel at the press of a button. You've got, like, nudity and hard porn, basically, is what he said, and that's just. It's just funny. It cracks me up. Lyrics are cool. It's catchy, and it's sort of aggressive, but it's nowhere near as aggressive as the next album. Lunchbox is probably my favorite song, and that's definitely in the top 3, about a kid standing up to a bully and smashing him with his lunchbox. It's really really cool. I love that song. That video cracks me up because of just simply how he looks and how old, like, it is, how young he looks. It's really really cool. Get Your Gun, the other single, is quite a nice one. It's fun to listen to, and it's about an abortionist that was assassinated, killed, I think. And but then there at the end of the album, this is where it gets fun, because you've got a song called Snake Eyes and Sissies, and it starts with a voiceover from serial killer Richard Ramirez, who was deemed the Night Stalker back in I'm pretty sure it was the 80s. And there's an awesome Netflix series on that. If you haven't, series doco, go watch it. But it sings about what is it? I'm a working man. I do the best I can. I've got the devil's hand, or something like that. It's really really cool, and it's aggressive but catchy. It's aggressive, catchy. And then you've got My Monkey, which I'm pretty sure is inspired. Well, yeah, it's inspired by a Charles Manson song. Not, and just kind of taken a few of his lyrics and twisted around. The voice is very, like, high pitched, almost sang like twisted. It's funny. I can't think of the word, but this album is really really cool. Portrait of American Family, and I would have put it higher, but unfortunately everything that comes next, like, is better. So I really like it. Unfortunately, this is one album that I really really do want to own, but because of where I live, it's next to impossible to get them. But yeah, number 7, Portrait of an American Family. Number 6 is a much later release, and that is 2017's Heaven Upside Down. Now, I was really excited when this album came out because there was a little bit of a promo thing that came out with the song called Say 10. And I think I remember rightly, I was going through a bit of a dark, satanic, demonic phase in my life. So when I saw the shock horror icon released a song called Satan. It was like planets colliding, and I was like, awesome. And then it came out, and yeah, it just summed it up. You say God, I say Satan. It's just like, yeah, pretty much, you know. If you know what Satanism actually means, as opposed to devil worshipping and church burning, then you know it makes sense, because it's really really cool. Other songs on here, basically the first half of the album I really 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 like. So like every song, like Revelation 12 is a bit funny because like the lyrics seem pretty basic. Revelation 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 coming 12. You know, it's just a counting song, but it's cool. It's a fun opener. Tattooed in Reverse is cool because it's almost boppy. Because like you can imagine like I don't know, it's just catchy and it's bouncy, and I imagine that would be fun live. And then a more aggressive one, We Know Where You Fucking Live. It's a shouted kind of aggressive song. And then you got Satan, which is cool. And then my favorite song, Kill For Me, real catchy, awesome video, and just brilliantly written with lyrics and melodies, and it's so cool. But then I think during the recording of this song, Manson's father passed away, and hit him quite hard, as it would to anybody, really. But he then, after that, went home and wrote Saturnalia, which is a really, really cool song. It's great to sing. Lyrics are clever, and just, it's really cool. It's a great first side of that album, Heaven Upside Down. It's really, really awesome. Jesus Crisis is quite cool too. Blood Honey, and then the song Heaven Upside Down and Threats of Moments, they all kind of just, to me, they're just there, you know. If he stopped at Saturnalia, it'd be an amazing EP, you know. The other four just kind of, like I say, they just sit there to fill. To me, they're space filler. This album's quite short, well, shorter than the others. It's 47 minutes, and yeah, very easy to get through. And like I say, the end just kind of tails off for me. But yeah, definitely a cooler album. Number 6, Heaven Upside Down. Cool, we're moving up there, getting there through quickly. Number 5, we're going to tackle the most recent release, We Are Chaos. And the reason for that being, this album is awesome. When this one came out too, I got excited, and I was like, man, it's about time we had another album, you know, let's see what angle he tackles this time. And pretty much, like, not exactly the same as Heaven Upside Down, but the first half of this album, again, is really, really cool. Red, Black and Blue, the opener, is fun. I like it. It's got some really clever lyrics. The song We Are Chaos, the one rock radio station in this damn country seems to think that's the only song that he put out on this album, so they hear it all the time. So to me, it's a single, so it's probably the weaker one. But then my favorite song, Don't Chase the Dead, real cool, real catchy, awesome video, great melodies. And then, yeah, I love that song so much. And then we get into some more creative writing. Paid You With My Love is a nice little slow written ballady kind of love song, we could say. Halfway, One Step Forward is back again, being more heavier. Infinite Darkness, which is awesome song title, is really, really cool. Perfume made everybody go a bit, whoa! And I can see why. Perfume's a really, really cool song. It's got, I'm pretty sure that's the one that's singing about Get Behind Me, Satan. I'm pretty sure. And then the last song, Broken Needle, is really, really awesome too. And again, this album's not very long. This one's only 50 odd minutes, so again, not hard to get through. I'm glad he's not still trying to tackle 80-minute albums, because, yeah. Number 4, we're moving up into the sort of peak era now. Number 4 for me is Manson's Holy Wood in the Shadow of the Valley of Death. This is Manson's 4th album, and a lot of people would classify this as like the beginning of the peak, you would say. And yes, I kind of agree. This album is very, very sort of different. It takes a dramatic approach from where we've come from, and the backlash that it had before it. You know, this album came out after Columbine happened, and he really had to sort of take a step back and make legal stands and just, you know, kind of clear the earth before making this album. And there's a lot of inspiration from what happened onto this album. It's broken up into, you know, sections and whatnot. The first 4 songs are basically the singles. You've got the love song, You've got the fight song, and then you've got the Disposable Teens. They're all cool. Fight songs, like a fight song, stand up and fight for what you believe in kind of thing. Disposable Teens is, yeah. Disposable Teens is cool. They're both singles. They've all got videos. It's cool. And then you get into the middle chunk of the album. Target audience is fun. It's very industrial. It's very creative with like a lot of keyboard-like sounds that are actually coming from the guitar. It's really, really cool. President Dead's a funny, quick one. And fun fact, this song is the duration. I think it's like 3:16, 3 minutes 16 is the duration of 3:16 is the frame, the frame cut. I don't know how you describe it, but the frame cut of where the bullet hit JFK's head on that famous footage. If you cut the film, the frame count of what it is 3:16. So that's why that's a little fun fact for you. The ballad "In the Shadow of the Valley of Death" is a beautifully sad song, acoustics about not really liking anything, and I really, really do like that song. The Nobodies, moving down. Nobodies is a cool song, which is, I hate to say the word inspired, but it was taken from the Columbine shooters. We are nobodies who want to be somebody, things like that. Yeah, again, this album gets back into the long frame. Album's number 71 minutes. So, Coma Black is really cool, and the Kill King 33 I really liked as well. So, yeah. So number 4 would, for me, be Manson's Holy Wood. Awesome, getting up there. Now, this album I do actually physically own for once. I bought it in Australia on a holiday just because it was there. Now, I really hummed and hard about putting this one here or at number 2. I really wasn't sure. But I think after listening to them all again, I was like, nah, this one sits at number 3. And we get Mechanical Animals. Yeah, no, this album is really, really cool. I remember when I first heard it properly heard it from like track 1 to track 14, like a 5 years ago or so, and I just listened to it all the time just because I just really enjoyed it. Like, it's another long one. It's like it's an hour long, but it's weirdly easy to get through. I really enjoyed listening to this album. I got really excited when I decided to do the Manson discography. I was like, cool, I get to listen to this one again. Great Big Wide World opens the album. It's a cool, awesome song. We got The Dope Show, which moves on. It's the single, which is about the plastic world of Hollywood in America, I'm pretty sure. The title track, Mechanical Animals, is fun. There's just so many cool songs on here. Rock is Dead's cool. The Speed of Pain is one of my favorites, which is sort of similar to In the Shadow of the Valley of Death from Hollywood. It's sort of on that same vibe, I feel. I Want to Disappear, I really like. I don't like The Drugs, but The Drugs Like Me, the single, is on this album. That's a really cool one too. New Model's fun, New Model 15. User Friendly, they're all cool. I really do like this song. Even The Last Day on Earth and Coma White is cool. I think they're just such cool songs. And this album, yeah, like I say, it's an hour. It's not hard to get through. It felt like half an hour. That's how quick it went through. I really like it. Mechanical Animals, number 3. Awesome. Number 2. Cool. Now, sadly, I don't own this album, but I really, really, really want it. And the next time I go shopping, I'll look. I know it won't be there, but should it ever pop up again, I'm just going to nab it without even thinking about it. And that is Eat Me, Drink Me. This album is awesome. When I listened to the whole lot again, I was like, yeah, I really got excited again to listen to this album. This whole gothic, romantic, vampire love vibe that it's got, it's a romantically written, there's just something about it where it's like, it's romance and it's gothic. It's so cool. Maybe it's just because of the song If I Was Your Vampire sets up the whole tone for the album brilliantly, and it's just every song on here is cool, even just by going off the names themselves. If I Was Your Vampire, cool. Putting Holes in Happiness is really, really cool. It's got a mega long guitar solo in it, which doesn't really happen on Manson albums as much. But when you've got John Five, who's an incredible guitar player, you need to kind of let him shine. The Red Carpet Grave, really, really cool. They Said Hell's Not Hot. They're so good. They're just awesomely fun to sing, and they all come with like double-ended meanings, like twisted meanings that I could think it means one thing, and when you hear it, you might hear something else. And that's just the awesome thing about Manson's music, especially ones that are more like this, where they're more constructed, and it's just really, really cool. Just a Car Crash Away is a beautifully written song. My favorite one, and the single, Heart-Shaped Glasses, When the Heart Guides the Hand. Really awesome little video. It's a bit explicit, but it's really, really cool. I remember seeing that song on a countdown on TV years ago. I think it was the first time I heard a Manson song, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. I like this song. Evidence is fun. Are You the Rabbit's cool. You, Me and the Devil make 3, and just the title track, Eat Me, Drink Me Too. They're just all great. They're all so cool. I really like this album, and it's just, yeah, it's a shame that I don't have it. I really, really want it. But yeah, please go check out Eat Me, Drink Me if you haven't. All right, and so if you've been paying attention to this huge video, you'll realize that number 1 for me is quite different in terms of what most people would say, but there's a reason for this. Number 1 for me is 2009's The High End of the Low. This album is phenomenal. I went through a rough period, probably the first rough period in my life. I went through the first rough period of my life, and I just did not feel cool. And this was the only Manson album that was in my house. This album wasn't even mine. This was my sister's, believe it or not. And I finally was like, can I borrow this? Like, can I just try it out? She's like, yeah, go listen to it. And when I put it on my iPod and I listened to it at work. And I just found myself playing it over and over and over again all the time. Every song after every song was great. It's a very slow, very mellow album, kind of like Born Villain. These two come after one another, so maybe that's why he's still in that vibe. But like, if you just go through the tracks, Devour's a funny opener, because it's hardly energetic. It starts off quite slow and then it gets heavy at the end. The single, Leave a Scar, well, was it a single? I don't even know. It should have been. But I do know that I'm a Goddamn Mother Geddon was a single, and which was basically a big middle finger to the music industry, the record company. He gave them the music without any words, and they said, oh, we'll put this out. This is going to be good. So he was like, okay, here's what I'll do for that. There's a really cool bunch of interviews that he talks about this album. It's broken up into like 3 or 4 videos, but it's really, really cool. I'd highly recommend watching them because it's such a good album and it deserves to be talked about. Another slow single, well, they're all slow. Another single from this one, Running to the Edge of the World. It's a very sad sort of song. Please don't listen to this album if you're feeling sad. But if you want if you do want to feel bad, for a little while, because we all need to feel sad in order to feel happy again, I would highly recommend putting this one on. It would really, really help you. Unkillable Monster, moving down the record. Unkillable Monster's one of my more favorites as well, top 3. And it's sort of like, if you're going through a breakup, that will help. And the single, We're From America, is a funny sort of it's one of the more upbeat songs, but it's just catchy. And then the really, really awesome, one of my more awesome favorites on this one is Into the Fire, track 14. And it's just a piano. It's just a piano and him just being so vulnerable and emotional and just letting it all come out. And just, yeah, it's just, yeah. And the album ends with a song called 15, which is 1/5, which is Manson's birthday, January 5. And it's just such a beautiful album. Four Rusted Horses, I didn't talk about. Four Rusted Horses is a really cool song too. Real slow, acoustic, about dying. Like I say, for those who are feeling sad, I would highly recommend this album. It just might help you. It really, really helped me. Number 1, The High End of the Low. Awesome, team. Thank you so much. That's the end of episode 3, Marilyn Manson's albums ranked. Let me know down below what your least favorites are. Let me know what your favorites are. Let me know why you agree. Let me know why you disagree. All that general stuff that goes on in comments down below. Yeah, so if you made it to the end, well done. I know that one took a while, but all good. Hang on for more. I've got at least 4 more bands, artists that I've got in my head, so this is definitely going to be a recurring thing. But anyway, until then, there's no self-promotions today, just some links everywhere to go do, just go browse around the channel and all that jazz. But if you're not interested, in the meantime, have an awesome day, stay safe, and I will see you next time.